let me welcome both of you to the show this morning to talk about what I consider to be a very, very important topic, the Harlem Renaissance. But before we get into that...
Welcome to another episode of HLM. And today I have with me my good friend.
Oh, introduce myself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's Eves from New York.
From New York. What part of New York are you from?
Harlem.
Born and raised?
No.
Where are you from originally?
Haiti.
Haiti. When'd you come to New York?
Came in 2000 at age 5, and I haven't been back since. Actually, I have been back one time, and that's it.
And now we're both here in Beantown.
Oh, that stands for Boston, right?
Yeah, Boston.
Yeah, I knew that.
We just finished watching a clip from Kanye.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Man needs help.
What happened to Kanye?
It's hard to say. A lot of people say it's because his mother passed away. Ever since then, he hasn't been the same. But I thought, ever since he went to Paris, I thought it would be... Because when he went to Paris, I thought I could go to Paris. Because he said niggas in Paris. I'm like, oh, so we could go there now. Because I guess he opened up the border for us. But I guess that's not the case. But...
Is that when she got robbed? When his wife got robbed? Was that the same time? Did she get robbed in Paris?
No. Who got robbed was Beyonce got robbed in Paris.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were they doing in Paris?
You know, it's Jay-Z's.
No, I'm talking about Kanye. What was he doing in Paris?
Probably was for that video.
Yeah. All right.
Probably. Don't quote me on that. That's probably.
That's funny. So what are your thoughts right now on Trump and the administration?
Trump, well, I'll be honest, I don't know who's in his camp at this moment. I always found it to be funny because comedian Cat Williams, he said that Trump's camp is composed of Satan, Hitler, Darth Vader, basically everyone evil. Which is true. We don't know who's in his camp, really. It's just
who said that? Cat Williams?
Yeah, Cat Williams said that.
He said that recently, huh?
Last year, but yeah. Okay. It's still recent.
Yeah.
When Trump was president, I didn't even know he was president for that long. He's like one of those presidents you forget, like you forget you had a president. Like the country is being run on its own, basically.
Yeah. What someone thinks he's doing, right?
Yeah. Trump is like, him being president is like him being a stepfather. Like he's barely there. When he is there, there's always some bullshit.
So he's only around for like the
important stuff.
The important stuff and the bad stuff.
Yeah,
right?
the bad stuff.
Punishment.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. But overall, he's an entertaining guy. I hate to say this, but politics needed something like this, as far as not his comments, but as far as someone entertaining. Because he is entertaining as shit. Like, I never watched CNN no longer than 3 minutes. I'm watching the whole 1952 seconds.
Like we were talking about before, he's like an entertainer. He's just something to watch to have a good laugh, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some of the things this guy says are just off the walls.
Sometimes I wish my boss could act like that sometimes. Hey.
Man. What has been your experience here, like with some of the way bosses out here treat employees?
Well, it varies because certain bosses I notice, which I could tell they weren't like the man in high school or college. So when they get when they get like a high position, they feel like, let me relive the moments I couldn't live, as far as let me be popular. Now that I'm in charge, I could boss people around the way people used to boss me around, which is not their fault because I guess they weren't treated the way they wanted to be treated. So once they got into the real world, they decided to like, fuck this. I'm gonna make people go through what I went through, which is messed up. But that's how some of them view themselves as. Yeah.
So in other words, they it's almost like a vendetta.
Yeah, in a way.
With the things that they've gone through, now they feel like they need to almost have revenge with their bad experiences growing up.
Right. Which I'm like, I had bad experiences too. I'm just like, as far as you saying that you work this hard and that hard, I don't know if you know what hard work is compared to what I've been through. Like 6 colleges in 5 years. Last year was the hardest part of my life as far as there'll be times I have to sleep at South Station and wake up the next morning just to go to go to work, and then go right back to Connecticut, catch my 10 a.m. class, leave Boston at 7. And I didn't. I'm a supervisor now. I don't take that out on people. I'm more appreciative of people, because without people to take me in and be like, instead of you sleeping at South Station, come stay with us. Come stay with us. If you need a place to crash, come crash.
Now let's rewind a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you went to 6 different colleges.
Yeah, 6.
Where did you start off at?
Okay, I started out at a community college in the Bronx,
New York.
Well, South Bronx.
How long were you there for?
A year.
And then from there,
I went to Mitchell College in Connecticut.
Why the change?
All right, so in New York, there's their college system is called CUNY. And CUNY is basically, if your parents don't make a certain amount of money, which my parents didn't, you go to school for free. But you wasn't necessarily taking the right amount of credits. So I ended that year off with 12 credits. And mind you, I spent a whole year. That a whole year earning 12 credits is not cutting it.
Right. Which is what's the typical for a year?
On average,
yeah.
It's supposed to be 12.
Oh, 12 for a year.
Yeah. So 12. No,
for a semester.
For a semester, it's supposed to be 24 to 30.
Oh, right. All right.
So I was way behind. So then when I went to school in Connecticut, I had to take out a loan, but I was getting. They told me I could take as many credits as I want. There's no restrictions. People are more friendlier there, more quieter, so I was able to get a lot of things done.
And then from there,
I left.
Switch.
I switched again because even though it was any good thing comes at a cost, and that cost we couldn't maintain it, so I had to come back home. So I came back home. I attended well, at first I was looking at several other schools. I was able to get one school contacted me, Hostos Community College back in the Bronx, which is ironic because they were a rival to the first community college I went to.
That's funny.
As far as like sports is concerned.
Well, you were playing basketball at this time, right?
Yes, playing basketball. He picked me up. A lot of people didn't see a lot in me, but this Coach Poole, he saw something and he put me on the team. And from there, I felt comfortable. I was always grounded as far as maintain this certain average to stay on the team. Unlike before, I wasn't really working towards anything. I was just like, let me just go to school. Hopefully get a 2.0, but over there.
Well, one thing that I need to mention is you kind of had a passion for basketball.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Your whole life? Not
my whole life. Because for me, I started out as a musician first. I was in the school band. I played in Carnegie Hall. I played in Radio City, I believe, was one of the places I played at.
So that famous spot in New York, right?
Yeah, all the famous places I played in. I was pretty good at it. I didn't really think I was good at it until they said, why don't you try it? And I try it. I think everything I try, I become good at it. Just
kind of just pick up things really quick.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, I think that's the Haitian side of me. Just adapting to anything.
Nice. And so from there, you went to a couple more colleges.
Yep. After Hostos, I left there. Then I went to College of Staten Island because I wanted to leave junior college and go to a 4-year school so I could be stable. So I got an offer at College of Staten Island, which was a troop. when I got there, I couldn't play that year because it was what, the second semester. The second semester they don't allow players to play their second semester, so I had to sit out. But I ended up going to a couple workouts. They were impressed with what they saw, and the only thing was that I had to, if I maintain this GPA, next year I'll be on the team. So, but unfortunately, I was commuting from Manhattan to Staten Island, which was the commute was I had to take the B train to 161. I had to transfer to the 4. I had to get off on Bowling Greens. I had to catch the ferry, and after the ferry, I had to catch the bus.
Now, for those of you who don't know, New York is huge. It's huge, made up of 5 boroughs.
5 boroughs,
and it is not. If you haven't been there, it's not like going down the street. If you're going to the next borough, you're spending some time.
Yeah, I took a boat to get to the other side. You should think. Usually people's like, "Oh, you saw Statue of Liberty?" I see that bitch every day. She still looked the same.
She hasn't changed.
She hasn't changed not one bit. Probably saw her cry when it was raining that day. That's why.
That's funny. And so eventually you made your way out here to Boston.
Yeah. But before I made it out to Boston, after College of Staten Island, I flunked out because the commute was just ridiculous for me. By the time when I got to class, I was so tired from all the traveling, I just didn't want to learn. So I flunked out there. So no other CUNY school will accept me because I had a GPA lower than a 1.0.
Wow.
So then I ended up going to a private school called Berkeley School of Business. I went there for a semester just to get my grades up so I could go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So I went there, got my grades up. Then I got in contact with Dano Barros. He was a former Celtics player. And we spoke. He said, as long as you can make it up here, we'll make it happen. I couldn't make it up there my first semester. But my second semester, I was able to get there. But by the time I got there, they did some research on my eligibility. Come to find out, I was no longer eligible to play college basketball. So I spent a semester at Newberry. Then after that, I had to make a decision. Stay here. There was actually telling me to stay extra 2 years, or go back to one of your other schools where you have a year left. So I decided to go back to Connecticut, and then I ended up graduating, got my degree.
What'd you get your degree in?
In business management.
Business management. So, born in Haiti, mm-hmm. Came to New York when you were 5 years old. Mm-hmm. Always had a passion for music, basketball. Mm-hmm. You got your degree.
Yeah.
24 years old. Mm-hmm. Now you're living here in Boston.
Yeah, now I'm out here.
Something I wanted to bring up, we talked about a little earlier before the podcast, was the police. Mm-hmm. And we talked specifically about quotas, something that you had brought up.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So basically in New York City, because my brother was a New York City police officer for a while, and he said there were certain quotas that they had to meet. And if they didn't meet those, then their job would be on the line. So what most police officers would do is to make quota, they'll go into the neighborhoods where it's more crime driven, and they'll arrest those people who fit the profile. Basically, if you ever heard the word, you fit the description, that's everybody. If you're wearing a hoodie, if you're wearing jeans, which is sad. It's a stereotype, but we all fit it because it's just a style that we're used to. Sagging our pants, always wearing a hoodie. That's how we get picked out as. They're never gonna pick someone with a suit. It's you don't fit the description. So
you're saying then the cops aren't patrolling in these white neighborhoods?
No, they're not. They're mostly in our black neighborhoods or our minority in neighborhoods. because that's where, which is sad, which is true. We do so much there, but it's like you don't give us much to work with. So if we had much to work with, we wouldn't be a crime-driven part.
So it's almost out of a necessity or because of limited options.
Right. Yeah.
And then in turn, the cops come, fill their quotas.
Yeah, they fill the quotas because it's basically easy pickings from there.
So again, what happens if they don't fill their quotas every month?
Every month they would their job would be on the line, which I don't know when they will lose their job, but they'll lose their job eventually.
So you're telling me these cops have a chance of losing their jobs if they don't get enough arrests and tickets out there.
Right.
Which they have pretty much target minority communities.
Right.
Wow. Wow.
It is.
Have you seen any type of I don't know, living in New York, any community I don't know, backlash or kind of like people speaking up about this type of thing?
There was this one incident that happened. I wasn't around for it, but it was all over the news, and I know this kid who it happened to him. I knew him personally. So the story was that he was walking home one day, and then two white police officers, they stop him. This is in Harlem, and then they say you fit the description, like I said before. And but he has no prior crime record. He was just walking home from school one day. So they took him, they locked him up, handcuffs, interrogated him for no reason at all. And then his parents came to find out where he was. And it was like, oh, your son isn't here, which was a lie. He was there, which I don't know why they would tell his mother that. So what they didn't know was that his dad was a police officer. He did like 20 something years, retired. And so he came in and even with that, they still wouldn't like release his son to him. So
where was the son?
He was still locked up in the prison.
Wow.
Or what do they call
juvenile.
They call it Doom, I guess, the holding area.
Okay.
Is because his jail is like you're on an island. You got Rikers, basically.
But was he underage?
Yeah, he was like 16.
So it's like a juvenile detention facility.
They still send you at Rikers.
That's for adults, though.
Yeah, they still send you. Even at what was it? I think 15 or 16, you could be tried as an adult.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll still get sent to Rikers. They do have Rikers is divided. So there is like so you aren't necessarily with grown men. You're with your age group, kind of. And then once you get a certain age, then depending on how long your sentence is, then they send you with the grown men.
Wow. So he was in Rikers with the.
No, he wasn't sent to Rikers because only a judge determines that.
Okay.
He was just in a holding cell and.
Okay.
Which he had no charges against him, so there was no point in them keeping him. But they just wanted these cops were some shady cops.
Was there any backlash after?
Yeah, they the whole Harlem community reacted to this, and the family ended up suing the police department, which the battle went on for about three or 4 years. I believe they won, but just the simple fact that even like you have one of your own, just because he was black, you didn't want to help him. So it's just one of those things where it's more race driven than your position.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they don't really. The most important thing for them is what color is your skin.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
I remember a couple, like maybe 2 to 3 years ago, I saw a program on CNN where you had like 4 or 5 cops from New York, all minority cops, Hispanic, black, and they were speaking up, and they were talking about how they were told to go into these Hispanic communities and black communities and lock people up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and apparently they had a conscience because they didn't do it. They quit the force,
Right.
Because they couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. My thing, Yves, is like people speak up. We keep hearing about it, this type of injustice, and it seems kind of obvious that there's some kind of racial. There's a racial. What's the word I'm looking for? Tendencies going on, but it just keeps going on.
Well, the way that reason it works that way because I'll go like far back in history. There was this movie I saw called Free State of Jones. I don't know if you ever seen that movie.
No, never heard of it.
So I'll just give you a brief summary about it. It's basically about it was this white medical doctor. He was a medical doctor for the Civil War, and he kept noticing that all his people were dying, and he was wondering like why are all my people dying for? It's really like what we're fighting the North for is what to. I think it was like to free the slaves.
Was this back during the civil rights? Not civil rights. When it was the South and the North.
Yeah, North and South. Yeah, okay. And then everything that they was fighting for made sense, but the South wasn't about it. So in the state of Virginia, he captured his own little area, and he called it Free State of Jones, which basically whether you was white, black, whatever, you was accepted. And Confederate soldiers couldn't get through because if they got through, they was automatically getting shot down because the other people on the other side were ready to defend their territory. Then it got to a point where they caught more and more territory to a point where they caught the whole town. The whole town was Free State of Jones, Virginia. They ended up losing that land because I guess because of political things, because the Confederate soldiers, they noticed that the North wasn't helping them anymore, so they decided to form this group known as the KKK, which that automatically spread to a point where it got big, to a point where Free State of Jones like we can't compete with this, so they could no longer operate in the South. So it took a couple hundred years until we had MLK come in and said this is not right, and then John F. Kennedy passed a bill saying that segregation will be abolished and whites and blacks could communicate with each other, and yeah, that's basically what happened there. And most of the white people were in law enforcement, and they continue to be in law enforcement.
You're talking about the KKK.
Yeah.
So you're saying the KKK members who had originally started out were law enforcement, people of power.
Yeah.
So now we're in 2018. Mm-hmm. They're still KKK. Mm-hmm. It's never gone away.
No.
And you're saying some of them are still law enforcement.
Yeah, they're still law enforcement. They still are. Even though they may not have that title, like what's his name? The former Grand Wizard of the Klan. What is his name? He was in that movie, Black Klansman.
Yeah. Duke?
Yeah, David Duke.
David Duke.
Yeah, even though he's no longer a KKK member, he's still in politics.
Is he?
Yeah, he's still a politician. That's his career, and he's a big supporter of Trump. So shows you where this is going.
Wow, says a lot, huh?
Yeah, it does.
So today we have probably the largest, or one of the most what's what I'm looking for, the highest concentrations of incarceration in the world.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Black people, number one. Mm-hmm. Hispanics, number two. Mm-hmm. Most of them being Mexicans.
Right.
And then you go down the list, but. I don't know. Do you think do you think this has something to do with it?
As far as
the system, as far as the systematic racism?
Well, there is a system, but the reason that system is in place is because of Well, for one, the jails are not ran by the government. They're privately owned entities. And these entities are owned by white people. And basically, they could kind of like control who they want inside their jail compared to who they don't want inside their jail. So if let's say if the prisoner is a racist, who do you think he's going to have in there? So that's a big thing, because I don't think you ever heard of a black prison owner.
Yeah, I've never heard.
Or a Mexican prison owner.
No.
Maybe I don't know in Mexico if they own it too, but
I think they got prisons in Mexico, but they definitely don't need prisons here.
Yeah.
No.
So that's one thing. If I'm able to get some money, I'll probably buy one prison and see what happens.
That's funny. So definitely there's I don't know. Would you say our system is kind of sick?
It is, but the sad part about it is that even though there should be more of us in there, but the simple fact is, here's how I look at things. It's basically like some people will just be innocent bystanders. They wouldn't necessarily say that's too much work. I don't feel like speaking up. I'm good where I am. And those people who say that are probably the people who could probably change this world, but they never want to do anything because they're just like, I'm fine. It's not affecting me. When something doesn't affect you, you don't really gravitate towards it. You just more of a line like, if it doesn't apply, let it fly in a way. Which we shouldn't think that. It's like, because even though you're good, but what about the rest of your community? Well, even though you're good, your kids may not be good. So you kind of like want to like change this world, make it better for the next generation. You could say I could care less, I'll die soon, but is that the type of imprint you want to leave on the world when you leave?
I mean, that's what being a human is, right? I mean, part of humanity is caring for not just for yourself, but for the next person.
Yeah. Well, part of living is a purpose. What's your purpose in life?
We're not here just to. I heard somebody say in the past, this old preacher years ago, he said, life isn't meant just to live in a box. Then you go to you drive in your car, it's a box. Then you go to work, you work in a box, and you come back home, and then eventually you die in a box. Right? That's not life.
Yeah. That's what you call a 9 to 5 for 25 years, and then you get a little retirement plan, and then you live off that until you die. No,
how long is that? 10 years maybe if you're lucky.
10 years, 20 maybe, but. Yeah. The way they got you working, they're gonna work you to death to a point where you can't live long enough to let's just say you have like a $1 million retirement plan. You're probably gonna spend $50,000 of that because you're already overworked. They say you can only retire at 70. 30 years, think about it, at 70, how much money are you really going to spend on stuff?
And how much longer are you going to live to spend that money?
Yeah, exactly. So,
the average person lives to 75 if you're lucky.
Right. 5 years. So
what are you going to do in 5 years?
Yeah, so that money's basically gone somewhere.
So you worked all your life, and that retirement, most likely, you won't be able to spend, and then you pass it on, and your family gets to have it.
Right.
So
and then
you worked hard for all those years, missing all that time with your family, missing time with your community, working for somebody else, making somebody else rich.
Right.
Ludicrous.
Right, it is. He is a great rapper.
Who's your top five MCs, top 5 rappers?
MCs, I can't say MCs because I'm not really a lyricist type of person.
Rap groups, rappers, hip hop.
So I'll put, Lil Wayne, Gucci Mane. I like Southern people. Who's another person? Tupac is a good person. Eminem is another good one, and J. Cole.
J. Cole.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good list.
Yeah, I don't know about Gucci Mane, but not a lot of people agree with me on that one.
What'd they say, that he's a clone? Is that what they said?
Something like, well, whenever you see someone doing good, it's just like, oh, that's like,
whoa,
he has to be a clone.
Whoa. Dude, that's deep. Think about it. Instead of saying, oh man, this dude has improved himself, the black man has improved himself, look at him. He lost weight, speaking better, being positive. Oh, that can't be really him.
Yeah, Yeah, that can't be him. That's because we all used to Gucci Mane, fat, chapped lips. Most of the stuff he said I didn't even understand. Just to be over it made it sound good. So it's just like, all right, whatever you say, Gucci. Just whatever you say. I agree.
That's funny.
Yeah, he made a song called Lemonade. I'm really thinking like it was you. Is this like a campaign? You bringing out a new Monster drink?
Lemonade?
Yeah, man, for me, I thought this was the new. What is it? The Minute commercial.
New sponsor?
Yeah, but then what is it? Then he just said lemonade diamonds earrings. I put it in your face. I don't know if you want to do that to someone. But yeah, but now I understand him. Now he's. If I could just figure out one.
Let's talk about Pac for a second.
Oh, Pac?
Pac.
Oh,
Tupac.
Pac. I thought you said
Tupac.
Pac.
No, Tupac.
Oh.
Tupac, man, like he was onto something. He was onto something, right? He was trying to make a movement.
A movement? His movement was by accident because the way his movement worked was it? Because his mom was part of the biggest movement.
Black Panthers.
Yeah, the Black Panthers. Not to be confused with the movie, but yeah, so his because I'm not too familiar with the Black Panther movement. But all I know is that they what they wanted to promote was since the KKK had they basically had guns, weapons, caused terror in black communities. We need because the police wasn't going to help us. So my belief was that's why the Panthers were formed. Because as far as like Panthers, it's like we're black. We wear the leathers. We don't take shit from anybody, and we don't mind fucking some shit up.
Right. No, they said we're gonna get guns ourselves. We're gonna protect ourselves. We're gonna help our own community.
Right.
We're sick of being mistreated.
Which is bad. Which is reason that we didn't succeed on like the clans because like I said, clans were all in politics. The Panthers. Just your local community person.
Well, but I think it was deeper than that. The CIA started infiltrating the Black Panthers to destroy them.
It's still, mind you, that's still the government.
Yeah,
which is
still run by secretly by these people.
Also ran by the Klan.
These hooded villains.
Right. So that's why what leads back to our conversation earlier about these I want to say supremacist groups.
That's what
but
it is.
They are running America, and as long as they keep running America, how are we as a community going to succeed? Yeah. Because we don't have anyone in there to really help us. Obama did what he can, but as you can see, one man can't do it all. Because he had a straight black hair.
Right.
I think a year later it's all white.
Brother was stressing out.
Yeah, it's a lot of stress.
A lot of stress.
Yeah. Just imagine him at Juice Press.
I don't know. From what I'm getting is we need more people of color, minorities getting involved, running events, running programs, running communities for something to change.
Yeah, but before we could do that, because there's always that one thing that leads to everything, which is the money.
So a lot of it is because we don't have the resources to be able to fund or to continue to go, right?
Yeah. If we could just find that one black person to just find a cure for cancer, I think we'll be straight. Because what other country wouldn't want to buy it from us? Right. And to the point where we become their main export.
Well, that's a whole nother thing, right? It's like whites. They have the majority of the good jobs, right? I'm not saying I'm not saying this or that, but pretty much they control all the jobs. They keep the jobs within themselves, right? And then blacks, Hispanics were forced to what? A lot of times we try to get good jobs, but a lot of them are low-paying jobs, right? So then we don't have enough to feed our families.
Right.
So what do? Unfortunately, a lot of times, go to crime. well, let me sell this to be able to provide for them, right?
But they, in a way, they kind of like set that up for us because
It's a trap, right?
Yeah, it is a trap because in Harlem when it was like the crack epidemic, the way it happened was, all right. So how were some of these wars being funded? It wasn't through taxpayers' money. It was through drug money. And so what would happen is they would let the drugs come in through one of the Latin American countries, and then but the Latin Americans wouldn't be able to sell it to the black community because they don't have any connection there. Like you go in there and speaking your language, in a way they're gonna be like, we don't know you,
right?
So then they started to offer like the biggest, baddest person, like, oh, can you sell this? Can you sell that? And show people, like, oh, this is a good thing. So they'll start selling it until a point where more people were like, oh, you making money too? Oh, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to make ends meet. I'll join you too. To a point where everyone started to join and sell drugs, but who are they selling to? They're selling to our people.
The same people, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Then once they get caught, what do you think the government does with that? They say, oh, we found 2 million from this person, 5 million from this person. You think they keep that money in lockup? No, that's going funding the war.
So it's a huge trap.
Yeah.
They set up the system. They force you into a corner. Then you destroy your community with these drugs. Then they lock you up. Then they take the money that you made and use that very same money to continue to lock up people.
Right. Which is, messed up, but
That's some sick. That's sick.
yeah.
You got to be really twisted to create such an idea.
Hey, when it comes to money, I think that's the two most important things in life right now is money and power. Well, money provides power, and power, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. And that's just a recipe for disaster.
I think one thing we had spoken about one time was ownership, trying to start our own businesses. And I think one time you had mentioned, you had a dream or an idea at least, right, to be a business owner.
Oh yeah,
and I definitely think that's at least one road to
the book bag or the chicken business.
You had mentioned the fried chicken.
Oh yeah. Well, I want to toot my own horn, but I'm just like a chicken expert. You know what I mean? Like chicken gotta be the right crisp, the right flavor. There's levels to this shit.
Right. It's a science.
There's a science behind it. It's like geometry. You could tell by the shape of the wing it's gonna taste good. There's a certain diameter to it.
So business ownership, definitely trying to get our own money, our own business flowing to give back to our very own communities. Right?
Chicken business is just my thing. You gotta be selfish at one point,
right.
But the other business would be like something that could probably help the world, which I'm still trying to figure that part out. I'm still young, so I got time.
Well, think about it. But even let's say a business like a restaurant business, right? Whether it be a chicken business or burritos, tacos, whatever it is, right? When you grow enough, you can hire your own people within your own community, right? So it doesn't matter what business you open, you can still have your own, right?
I prefer opening a business not in my own community, but like in their community. Because they're the ones that's throwing all that money at us. Right. So why not? Basically, if they could do that to us with drugs, why not we do that to them with food? In a way, like $20 for 2 pieces. Yeah.
We throw back at them.
Yeah, we throw. It comes with a biscuit. Yeah, I mean,
biscuit and a side of sauce.
Sauce
is extra.
Yeah, so. We also have quinoa. Whatever the fuck that is. But yeah. So in a way, yeah, that's as long as I can we could able to get inside their community, because why not us? There was this picture I saw on Facebook. it was saying that basically this is how the black community works. Imagine a big boat, and imagine that boat sinking. What do you think everyone's doing? Everybody's cutting a piece of the boat and making themselves their own little boats that they could survive. What is that? Instead of people working together, like, let's patch up these holes, people are just like, oh, let me just get mines and leave. Which that's why a lot of people don't start businesses in the black community, because we don't necessarily help each other. Compared to white people, they stick together. Like the quote, white on rice, that's white people. So, but once we bring it into their community, they will like accept us to a point where we bring in our own people. We bring in our own ideas, because hey, just earlier I was watching a documentary about the chopped cheese, a Harlem staple. Now it's in the white communities now. We sell it in the hood for $4. They're selling it for $14. But they're adding shit like hummus. Instead of lettuce, they put kale. And
they've gentrified even the foods.
Yeah, they gentrified even food. It's our thing, but they just put their little spin on it, saying that, oh, we're paying homage to it. No, you're stealing our shit.
Charging triple.
Charging triple. Well, we wouldn't go up there and buy it.
Nonetheless.
Yeah, well, because which in a way, if it was a black person doing that, I wouldn't mind. But if it's a white person, be like, oh, I heard about this chopped cheese thing in New York, in Harlem. Let's sell it up here. Like, no, if it's a black person, he's making his money, and then he's actually like giving back to the community in some way, shape, or form, taking their money, bringing it to us. And
then building that community
back up, then we'll be fine. But not a lot of people think that way. When they start business, like I said, the boat, when the sinking boat theory, when the black community start their own businesses and they start to drown, everyone looks to, let me just let the store die and collect the insurance money.
You know, it makes me think about something like, so we have a paycheck, right? We all get paychecks. Doesn't matter what you get paid, you have that amount. And a lot of us, so, you know, we spend rent, we spend it on our utilities, clothes, etc. And then those dollars that we have, it's limited, right? We don't have a limited amount of money, right?
Right.
We have a limited amount of money. And then we go, and most of us, we go to these restaurants, these big chains, Applebee's, Red Robin, McDonald's, Burger King. We buy clothes at Macy's or you know, the mall, Burlington. So those dollars we're giving back to white people.
Right.
They own all these establishments. The people who own these stores are really already wealthy. They're wealthy. They're rich, beyond rich. We're only making them more richer.
Right.
For these very people who do nothing for us. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Right? So imagine using those same dollars and helping each other.
Right.
Imagine the difference that could be made.
Oh, yeah, it can. But it starts with the political part first before we can even do that. So realistically, we have a lot of work to do. Martin Luther King, he did a lot for the time he was here. But it's a lot of work.
Still more needs to be done.
Yeah, it's a lot more. I mean, me and you, we may not even get a chance to even see a perfect world. But if we could just get a jump start to the next generation, we'll be fine.
Well, I think that's a good note to end on. Thank you, Yeez, for joining me.
No problem.
Till next time. Peace.
Oh, yeah. Peace.